Everyone seems to know the words artificial intelligence, but what do we actually mean when we say them? Are our phones intelligent? What about Siri? Hey Siri, are you smart?
Well, when I was at school, I had to cheat on my metaphysics exam by looking into the soul of the boy next to me.
Or this guy. In this book, Max uses the broad definition of intelligence equals the ability to achieve complex goals. Now with this in mind, there are 3 levels of AI that are agreed upon by most experts. The first is narrow intelligence. This is the AI that we have now. It includes Siri, self-driving cars, and programs that can play games like chess. This AI is extremely good at specific tasks, but struggles at other things like thinking outside the box, being creative, and having a subjective experience. The next is general intelligence. This level of AI can do everything we can do at least as good as us. This means thinking, feeling emotions, being creative, and possibly having a conscious experience. They also have the ability to teach themselves things and learn from the world around them. This is what we're aiming to achieve with AI at the moment. This general intelligence will eventually teach itself so much that it will evolve to the next level of artificial intelligence, and that is superintelligence. Now this is the end game, where it's difficult to predict what exactly superintelligence would be like. This is because it would be so omnipotent and omniscient that it would basically be synonymous with a god. This is the type of AI that is the center of Life 3.0. Now when we're thinking of superintelligent AI, people like to imagine human-like robots. And it is possible that we will have robots that might share some human features, but it is far more likely that super AI will be something that is housed in the cloud and uses the internet. This will allow it to travel at the speed of light and connect globally and eventually universally through the web. Even if initially it is confined to physical constraints, once it manages to access the internet, it will be very difficult to confine it to one particular form. Essentially, once we let the toothpaste out of the tube, it won't go back in. Now this all sounds extremely far-fetched and most people would think it isn't possible. But the truth is, it's very possible, and it's also very likely. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans made only very small technological developments. I know we learned to control fire, made wheels, built ships, and created the computer. But if you were to look at the time it took to do all that, you would see that our technological expansion has only really skyrocketed in the last 200 years. On a graph, it looks something like this. The thing is, it hasn't stopped. Every year, we release more powerful computer chips that can do millions of more calculations than the ones before them. So it's really only a matter of when, rather than if, we create general artificial intelligence. Now let's fast track and say that AI is cute and cuddly and beautiful and does all the extraordinary things that we imagined it would. But what would this look like? Well, we would probably eradicate all diseases that we previously didn't know how to cure. Our knowledge of maths and science would improve dramatically, allowing us to unlock the secrets of the universe. We would learn how to create clean technologies that can stop climate change and create unprecedented wealth to be shared by everyone. We would solve the mystery of how our brain works and possibly replicate or upload ourselves into the cloud to live whatever weird fantasies we'd like without infringing on anyone's freedom. Now what could go wrong? Well, to begin with, something that we're already seeing today is job displacement. Because AI will be cheaper and better than humans at almost every activity, it's likely to replace us in almost every single aspect of work. We already see this in supermarkets and manufacturing jobs, where automation is replacing human workers. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Without work, humans would have the ability to pursue any hobby they want. They could spend more time with their family and friends, more time than they used to be able to when they had work. The problem is that we don't currently have an economic environment that supports this. For example, how are people supposed to buy things if they're not getting money from work? And what if people find more pleasure in life with work than without it? Now, there are people that have solutions to these problems. The only thing is, not everyone agrees with them. Now, aside from an economic viewpoint, there is a chance that one nation will create artificial intelligence before the others and use this to gain wealth and power across the globe. This could be done by rigging elections, hacking government data, cyber warfare, or using advanced AI and military weapons. There's also the possibility that AI will enslave us or keep us in a human zoo, the same way we do to species that are less intelligent than us. Then of course, there is the possibility that the entire human race becomes extinct. Well, not necessarily. A superintelligent AI may get rid of us not because it's evil, but purely because it's goal-oriented. The common analogy involves ants. Ants don't often bother humans, and for the most part, they don't even pop into our minds. They do their thing and we do ours. But let's just say you want to build a house, and an ant's nest is on the plot of land you want to build on. Are you going to relocate the ants safely and build them a new nest? Or are you going to destroy their house and potentially murder their families? We're not evil, we're just a lot smarter and have goals that they're in the way of. Except in the future, the AI will be a lot smarter than us, and we might be in the way of their goals. Well, yes, that is most likely what we'll try to do, but we can't even guarantee that that will work. There are a lot of things that we humans are programmed to do. Having babies and not dying are two of the biggest goals that we have programmed into our brains. But still, it's not uncommon for us to go against these programmed goals. For example, by using contraception or killing ourselves. This is because as we learn new things, our goals tend to change. Consider Jimmy. He was a young boy who dreamed of becoming a professional soccer player. All his young life, he wanted to be a pro. He trained hard and always worked towards his goal without fail. As he aged, he began reading different books, meeting different people,
Nice to meet you, Jimmy.
and having different experiences. And soon enough, he realized that he had other goals that didn't coincide with his previous dreams. Jimmy is now an alcoholic and regrets his life choices. The point of this story is that Jimmy had an initial goal, and after learning new things and having new experiences, he realized that he wanted different things out of his life. Simply put, his goals changed. An AI that can teach itself practically anything could be likely to follow the same path. Now, we'd all like to think that if things got bad enough, we'd just turn off the switch or pull the plug. But let's be honest, that probably wouldn't happen. Our lives are intertwined with technology. Our economies, our relationships, our communications, all of these revolve around the internet. Most people can't go half an hour without checking their phones. So what makes you think that we could all of a sudden stop using the biggest web infrastructure in the world? Not only would it revert us back in time, but you'd also have to ensure that every nation did it. And as I mentioned before, we don't have a very good track record of keeping promises with other nations. So when is this gonna happen? Well, the truth is we really don't know. Most experts estimate between 2040 and 2050, but some people believe it could happen as soon as 10 years and others as far away as thousands of years. As long as we don't get hit by an asteroid, die from climate change, or have a nuclear war, it is likely that we will get artificial superintelligence. The world has changed so much since 1990, and that was only 30 years ago. Imagine another 30 years from now. It's impossible for us to go back to old tech. If we want to solve future problems, we need future technology. Our lives depend on not just getting artificial intelligence, but on getting it right. There is no way of knowing which particular scenario will play out, and the ones I've mentioned are just a few that I'm interested in. Max does a great job of explaining way more scenarios in far more detail, as well as explaining a whole bunch of other interesting things about artificial intelligence that I haven't mentioned. I've also added some links in the description from Max and from Sam Harris, who's a neuroscientist, discussing this topic of artificial intelligence, and I highly recommend watching them if you're interested. Max stresses us to ask ourselves what we want the future to look like. What values, laws, and rules do we want super AI to have? What will humans do when AI can do everything better than us? Who will make the AI, and how do we ensure that they do it for the right reasons? There are so many more questions that need to be asked, and the truth is, we don't really have an answer for any of them. And that's why this is such an important discussion to have. Everyone, please read this book and get thinking about the future. We have an opportunity to decide how this is going to play out. Let's make the most of it.
Doing?
Nothing. Hold on.
Oh my god!
I need some hands up. Hold on.
I was gonna vlog.
Mom!
Hi Lucy, I'm Daniel.
No, you're Jimmy, you're Jimmy.
Wait. Hi, I'm Jimmy. Oh, you know shake
Nice
it properly. Hi, I'm Jimmy.
Nice to meet you, Jimmy.